Hello and welcome to this online museum exhibit curated by me, Richard Cortez. Today I am going to be guiding you through one of the most important painters of the Baroque period, Artemisia Gentileschi. Throughout this exhibit, I will show you how the hidden power of women is shown through her art. First, we'll walk on over to exhibit Baroque. The Baroque period of art. The Baroque period of art was a European movement that began in the year of 1527, where the Catholic Church chose to retaliate against the domineering Protestant Reformation. The church wanted to what else? They wanted to reclaim their power and how art looked. Well, not just how art looked, but how they were seen throughout Europe. In general, the Baroque style period of art posited religious images for the public eye after being banned for their glorification of the ethereal and ideal. The movement's leaders professed that art should be easily understood and strongly felt by common people with the effect of encouraging piety and awe for the church. And as we go throughout this exhibit, please note certain Baroque styles of painting. The styles of the period that were popular included real or implied movement, an attempt to represent infinity, and an emphasis on light and its effects, and a focus on the theatrical. In general, Baroque was all about showing realism. One of the most popular techniques at the time were quadro repertato, which were frescoes that incorporated the illusion of being composed of a series of framed paintings. And if you wanted to know what frescoes are, they're known as wall paintings. Also, and we're going on to quadrature, or also known as quadratura, which are also called ceiling paintings. An example of a quadrature is, as you see on the right, by artist Titian and his painting Sapienza, which is located in Liberia de San Marco, Venice, with additional details by Cristofora and Stefano Rosa. And also, one of the most popular period art styles, were trompe, which is trompe all'oil, which is a style of painting in which objects are depicted with photographically realistic detail. And that's just a general background on our artist for today, Artemisia Gentileschi. Who is she? Well, Artemisia Gentileschi was born on July 8, 1593, as some may agree, in Rome to Prudencia Montone, her mother, who unfortunately died when Artemisia was 12, and her father, Orazio Gentileschi, who was a well-known painter at the time. Some of the most well-known facts about Artemisia pertain to her father, who was hired to decorate the Palazzo Pallavinzi Raspiglioso in Rome, alongside Agostino Tassi, who was a painter who unfortunately had a devastating effect on Artemisia's life. Tassi rated Artemisia as her mentor in painting. In the following trial, in her testimony, Artemisia exhibited a sort of power that was not seen at the time, where she asserted that she is telling the truth that Tassi did rape her, and to test the veracity of her statement, she is tortured using the Sibyl, which are cords wrapped around her fingers and pulled tight. So must imagine how devastating and torturous that was. And when Tassi denied that that he raped Artemisia, she she quips, which is unusual for someone during a trial. She quips that this is the ring that you gave me, and these are your promises. Where where Artemisia thought that she was going to marry, that she was going to be in a relationship with Tassi, and she quips back with that. And going on to one of her paintings, she is an artist, by the way. We're going to look at one of her paintings in Susanna and the Elders, and we're going to look at this exhibit right now. Susanna and the Elders was made in 1610s an oil on canvas painting. And the situation that's going on in this painting is where two elders look down upon a helpless young woman who is painted with her arms drawing up against them as they demand sexual favors from her. Now let's go back to the painting. Now take a good look at the painting. There is a very extremely realistic detail to the painting, where the situation scene it seems very personal, as the original story of Susanna and the Elders was a biblical tale, which is a book in the Bible. And if you look at the rich color palette, it's very smooth. There's a lot of bright colors. Look at Susanna's nude skin and how deeply in pain she must look if you look at her face. And the combination of the rich color palette and the dark shadows, which is a method used by Caravaggio, one of the painters at the time. That method is known as chiaroscuro, which means in chiaro, which means light or clear, and scuro means dark and obscure. And it's this method of art that's using gradations of light and shadow to create convincing 3D scenes where figures and objects appear as solid forms. And you can see how light interacts with the objects here and makes it feel extremely realistic. And also, one of the more important parts of this painting is how it is one of the 19 paintings signed by Gentileschi. And going on to another one of her paintings is her. This is her self-portrait as the allegory of painting, or it is also known as La Pittura, made in 1623 with oil on canvas during Rome. It seems to, look like nothing special. It's just her painting, but as this next statement says, like a single bold stroke in a contemporary painting, it showcases the quietly determined form of the artist at work. The curve of her body, a sweepingly elegant C-shape, her arm holding the paintbrush strong and sure above her head, though the viewer faces her directly. She is turned in profile, engrossed in the hidden canvas before her. The hidden canvas before her? Yeah, you cannot see it. This is simply a person, a woman, going about her day. This is Artemisia Gentileschi in her most rawest form, her most average form. Just look at her as she's wearing a pendant and a green dress and her hair, which, may let the viewer know that this subject is a woman, which with the pendant and the green dress is what most women would be seen wearing at the time. And if you notice something about Gentileschi's artistry, look at her dress. look as she masterfully paints the green dress with gradually changing color hues as to stimulate a natural feeling and a real feeling. And not just about the real feeling of this painting. It's one of the paintings of Artemisia Gentileschi that proves very powerful for women at the time. So women at the time, they're not accepted very easily into high academic institutions, the public church, and they were not easily seen by their male counterparts in art. And with this painting, Artemisia's La Pittura, her self-portrait of herself, just look at where the brushes and where the canvases and where her color palette is. They're not easily seen. Now, even though this is a portrait of her painting, she's demonstrating just herself. She's declaring that she is more than a painter. She is a woman. And that is very powerful because, as we enter our conclusion of this exhibit here, this is the power of women. Artemisia Gentileschi's painterly focus on the female subject in her paintings is just simply more than simply focusing on those women. As she demonstrated in La Pittura and the painting of Susanna and the Elders, Gentileschi brings control to how she, a woman, is seen, which has not been seen much in the Baroque period, where the Catholic Church dominated the public discussion. And going back to her rape, it's very, it must have been traumatic to how she felt. It must have been. And how she paints female subjects throughout her paintings, it's giving control to how women are looked, whether they are beautiful or plain or heroic or ordinary as she seems in her self-portrait, or powerful or powerless as Susanna is seen in Susanna and the Elders. Women can live vicariously in art and be seen as important as their male counterparts, but also they may be seen as people rather than painters. And that concludes this exhibit on Artemisia Gentileschi and her hidden power of painting women. Thank you.